tutorial on how to make the mini flower rings or rose rings, depending what you want to call them. On these ones I use duct tape for the backing to make the actual ring part of it. And then so today we're going to make a white one but the rounded petal. And just to give you an idea of the size, here's that as a comparison, just so you can kind of get an idea of how small they actually are. So what you're going to need for the tutorial is you're going to need the color of your flower, and then you're also going to need the ring color. If you're not, you can also use the same color for both if you want. That's up to you, but for this one I'm going to do it with the green back and then the petals is white. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take, oh, I forgot to mention, you're also going to need a pair of sharp scissors. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your tape, whatever you're using for your petals. You're going to rip a section of that, and then you're going to rip that in half. You can also cut it. The white rips fairly easily, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Now from the section that you've parted in half, you're going to take your scissors, or you can rip it, and what you're going to do is you're going to do 1 inch and a little bit. It's not exact, but it's a little bit over 1 inch. So you have a little square. You're going to take that and you're going to pull it down so that you have this L shape of sticky exposed. And then you're going to grab your other end. You're going to fold that over, and now you have a triangle. Now if you were making these roses, you would stop there and you would just make your petals, and that gives you this point. But today what we're going to do is we're going to actually make the rounded ones. So in order to do that, all you do is take your scissors and you're just going to clip that edge, and that's all there is to it. So once again, you're going to take your piece that you cut in half and you're going to go about 1 inch and a little bit over. You're going to flip it over. You're going to fold that down, making an L of sticky, and then you're going to take this end and you're going to fold that over to give you the pointed end, and you're going to take your scissors, cutting that tip off. Now depending on this, how full you want your flowers, how many petals you're going to need. So for this one here I did about 30 petals, but for this one here it was only about 20, so it just depends. Some duct tapes are thicker than others, so you'll need less petals, so it just depends. So anywhere from 20 to 30 though. 30 is the most I've ever used, so if you were making it for the first time and you do 30 petals, you should be fine. The other thing you're going to need is something to attach your flower to. So I'm just using this piece of scrap material here. All you do to make that is you take a piece of scrap duct tape and you're just going to literally roll it up on itself. And that just gives you something to put the actual flower on. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the petals and I'll be right back so we can continue making the flower. Alright, so we're back and I have my little piece of scrap here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first petal and I'm just going to start wrapping that around. And you're literally just going to make that first one go all the way around, and that's the center of your rose. You're going to grab the next petal and you're going to start it in the center of the last one that you did. You're going to stick that down and you're going to kind of crinkle it as you go. If you need more explanation on this, you can go to my tutorial for rose pins and I show it there in more detail. for petal placement. And I'll put that link down below in case you want to check it out. So you're going to grab the next one and you're going to continue, making sure to crinkle it as you go, and that gives it this open blooming effect. So you're just going to continue on the same way each time, starting in the center of the last petal. And you're going to continue until you get your rose to the thickness that you want. Now what I look for when I'm doing these particular ones is that I want the back of my flower to be somewhat flat, so when I attach this, it has a base to sit on nicely. So as soon as I get there, I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to continue placing it, setting in the center, and going. And I apologize that this is going to be a fairly long tutorial, just so that I can get all the information in there, because I want to show it from start to finish. I'm trying to hurry, so it's probably not going to be the nicest rose I've ever made, but it will definitely give you the idea of it. So if you look at it from this side, what I'm doing is I'm just wrinkling that and putting it down, starting it at the center of the last one, wrinkling it and putting it down. So I'm going to put one more and then I'll call it good. So you could at this point make it larger if you want, going all the way around. I'm going to stop here. You can see that it's smaller than the other ones I've done, but that's okay. But it is flat now here on this side, so we can use this to attach. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my scissors and I'm going to cut into this piece here that we use to attach it, and I'm just going to snip it. And then I'm going to check to make sure that this is somewhat flat, which in this case it is. So the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to take a little piece of duct tape and you're going to cut it into a circle or a circular shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you're just going to attach that to the bottom, and that's just to hide all the ugly imperfections there on the back. So if I can bring that closer for you to see, you can see that this is kind of flat here, and then the back is now covered smoothly so we can attach our ring part, and then there's the top of it. So the next thing we're going to do is work on the back piece. So for that, I'm going to bring out my green. And you're going to cut a section, oh, I'd say about 4 inches long. And again, you're going to break that down the middle. And once you get that section, you're going to actually put this into thirds. So fold it over once, twice, and that piece I actually messed up. So once you get it, you're going to break it into thirds. Once you have your green, you're going to break that into thirds. So you're going to fold it over once, twice, and then 3 times. And that's going to actually be the part that goes around your finger. So at this point, what you need to do is decide how big you want this. So what I do is I just take it around my finger, I lay it, and with my other finger I kind of hold to see how big I want it. So I don't want it super tight, so I'm going to cut it about here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another little piece of green, and this is just to hold it together. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to have it meet in the middle, fold that over, and bring it around. And that's going to actually be the part that sits here. So at this point, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to actually go back to white to cover this here so that it looks nice. And the first thing we're going to do is here with this scrap that I have, I'm just going to cut a little section. And this first piece is just to kind of attach it to give us an idea of where we want the ring itself. So at this point, you're going to try it on and make sure that it's even and that it looks okay. And on this one, I could actually go a little bit tighter if I wanted to, but for now it's fine. I'm just going to snip off a little bit here. So the next thing to do is to take a section about 4 inches long, and you're going to actually snip that down, making a long piece like this. And you're going to actually take that, you're going to start it here right at the base of the ring, covering the piece that you just put down in white, and you're going to actually wrap that around, and this is for stability, and you're just going to continue wrapping it all the way around. And if it goes more than once around, that's fine. This is for stability, like I said. And then you're going to take your end and just tuck it under. Okay, once you have that done, now you're going to want to do the piece that's going to actually cover the back. That's going to be the piece that you're going to see, and so you want that to be somewhat nice. So you're going to take a piece of duct tape, and you're just going to trim it. Now this is way too long, but I want it longer rather than shorter so that I can actually cover it and have enough room to work. So you're going to place that underneath, sticking it, and then I want it to cover all of these little imperfections. So then I take my scissors and I'm going to cut it to a point, just to give it more of a finished or polished look. So you can see the point there, and then just stick that down. And again, this side the same thing, so I kind of eyeball to where I can see all these extra little pieces, and I know that I want those covered. So again, I'm going to cut that into a point. And push that down, and that's the finished ring, and then now you can wear it. Now I wouldn't recommend putting these in water. You can always try sealing the back with glue or something along those lines. Also at Michael's or Joann's you can buy metal ring parts that are empty on top, and then you can just stick that on with glue. Also, once you put on that white piece of duct tape before you put on the ring, you could attach that to a hair clip or something along those lines. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask down below or inbox me, and you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching.